What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Our Brains Hurt. Thanks a lot for hanging out. We are running a contest on our website all month, the whole month of March into April. Go to ourbrainshurt.com and you get to choose your all-star punk rock band. Vocals, guitar, bass, drums, second guitar if you want one. Go to ourbrainshurt.com, name your band, and we're going to vote on it in April, and there'll be prizes for the winner. So ourbrainshurt.com, all-star punk rock band. Go there, submit it, and maybe you can win.
Well, they needed a jingle for their stupid little show, so they called up the Jasons and we said, fuck no. Then they called us again and they gave us $20 and we wrote them a song that said, your podcast sucks. Then they gave us more money and they asked us really nice and we finally gave in and we said, all right, I'll write you a song, but it's gonna be a clone of a Screeching Weasel song that we heard a while ago. So we wrote them a jingle and it sounded really rad. It was the best little jingle that their pockets ever had, but the file got corrupted and the email didn't work. Now they're stuck without a jingle singing Our Brains Hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. In a very non-copyright infringing sort of way.
Tonight we are talking to Funny from the P-Tank.
Yeah, I think we can say this now. The legendary P-Tanks.
Yes.
I also
Absolutely.
when I first heard of them, was like the CD the one just which I think was Picnic with Your Mom was the one with the tank on it.
Yeah, that's Picnic with Your Mom. Yep.
Yeah, and that's I didn't see the album cover.
Yeah.
Like I just a friend of mine had that CD and I was always like, what is the fucking CD with the tank on it? And these P-Tanks. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's how I, listened to it for the longest while. And I never, since there's a tank on the CD, I always thought it was like a reference to something like P-Tanks. I was like, it can't just be like a tank of pee. No. No, that's what it is. It's a P-Tank. It's a tank full of piss. The picture on the CD got me.
Yeah. I mean, growing up in this area, getting into punk rock when I did, it was like they were the shit. I mean,
yeah.
I
say legendary, but like a lot of people nowadays, unless you were in a band back then, you probably don't remember the P-Tanks.
Right.
You might. That's why I say legendary, because they fucking are in this area.
Hell yeah. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. You do have a killer beard.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I just cut a couple inches off because it looked kind of homeless.
It's luxurious. Speaking of hair, just before we get started, I Googled like P-Tanks pictures. And maybe I saw some on your Facebook page too, but there was a picture of you. You were probably in like 6th or 7th grade, maybe, and you had like a blonde mullet. And you were wearing some kind of like a metal sleeveless shirt and you're like yelling into a microphone.
I was probably older then.
Oh, okay.
If I was yelling in a microphone, I was probably like 16 or 17. Okay. But yeah, I had a sweet mullet. Actually, I've been growing it out.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
I could cut it off any day, though. It's kind of a mess.
Love it.
Trying to recapture my lost youth.
I love that the punk rock mullet is kind of coming back. The guy from the chats has a pretty sweet one.
And mustaches too.
Mustaches, that's a roll of the dice,
Yeah.
Very few people can pull them off.
Yes. Agreed.
It's a very strange thing in society that the weird, creepy predator look has become kind of popular amongst people.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because either some people can look like a cop, but some of them just look like, hey, don't get so close to my kids. I can't do it. Actually, at the when the pandemic started, because I've just always had a some sort of beard, usually, pretty short. But I was like, hey, I'm home all the time. No one sees me. So I just shaved. So I had this big handlebar mustache. It was the worst thing ever. I do not have the face for it, and the kids hated it.
the things you had to do to keep yourself busy and interested,
Yeah, it's like, if there's ever a time to be such a obnoxious turd, it's when you're home alone.
Yeah.
Totally. So the P tanks have come up on this show like so many times.
So many.
Yeah, and I've told this story on this story of our scene of kind of how music was in the Crofton Bowie area in the mid early 90s and even the late 80s. I mean, I didn't get into it until I was probably sophomore in high school. It was probably maybe 93, 90, 92, 93, something like that. And I've been in the Navy, I've gone to college, and I've talked to so many people that are into punk rock from all over the country, and nobody ever has the kind of scene stories that I have, with the kind of with the amount of bands that there were, with the amount of shows that there were, and the P tanks were a huge part of that. Like, why do you think that was? Do you think it was a spillover from DC in the 80s, or do you think it was just the right people at the right time?
I think it was a lot of things. I mean, we were kind of nestled in between DC, Baltimore, and Annapolis. So it was kind of like there was some stuff around us. I think because of some of the people that did a lot of organizing and, putting on shows, and, it just inspired people, and it couldn't have had a luckier scene to grow up in. I mean, there was so much talent, so many awesome bands, so many awesome shows. I mean, like, I don't know what there is nowadays for young people. I mean, I've heard of some Baltimore kids like a year or two ago going to a state park that I won't name just in case they do it in the future, and just bringing generators and setting up these like little rebel shows for like 100 people. And that
Cool.
sounds pretty awesome. But I mean, all the different fire halls, and even some businesses and like restaurants like Fat Tuesdays and Bowie. It's insane that they let us have $3 punk rock shows there with just, since it was in the mall, like couple hundred kids would show up, like their parents are dropping them off and they're just going crazy for a couple hours and then going home with mom and dad. It was the best. And I feel bad for the kids now. They don't have anything like that in most places.
There's I live down in Fredericksburg, VA. And there's a coffee shop here now that last year started having all ages shows, and they don't sell alcohol there. And a friend of mine's band was playing a show, and I went, and the entire place was packed with nothing but teenagers. And in 2023 at the time, I was completely blown away. It brought back like all these memories of the 90s and seeing similar stuff. And I was like, wow, this is insane. Like one thing and they all come. There really is nothing for kids to do nowadays, musically at least.
It was crazy. We'd put on a show and it would be like $3 or $5. And every band, we'd always split all the money equally. And every band would get, $200-300 for a show. And now it's like,
that's way more than now.
Yeah, now it's like, I actually just started jamming with some new guys last week, and some of them have been playing in cover bands and stuff. And I was like, I hope you guys aren't expecting to get paid, because it might be like 3 or 4 shows at bars where it's like, the third one, the band gets $20 or something.
Yeah.
It's just, you get nothing, which no one's doing it for the money, but
Yeah.
Having the money helps to be able to record and get
Yeah.
shirts
To be able to keep doing it. Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah, what the hell is up also with cover bands getting
That's where
so much money to play and like original bands like having to scrounge? What the hell is that?
I think because, people in their 40s are like, yeah, I grew up loving this song. I want to go see it. And I mean, there's some very talented cover bands, but
There is.
like the new guys I'm jamming with, they're like, I've been doing cover bands and, it's cool, but I need to do something more creative than just play everyone else's songs,
Yeah, that's like all Annapolis is now. It's like cover bands. The Metropolitan had shows, and my band would play every now and then, but I don't think they do shows anymore. If they do, they only do it a couple nights a week.
I heard they don't. I heard the stage is gone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard they were going to expand the restaurant.
Because that place was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Silver Gulls played with you guys there, the Ailments.
Yes, that's right.
And the New Jersey band.
Oh, Crypt Keeper 5?
Crypt Keeper 5, yeah. They were awesome too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had the awesome like rooftop bar for when it's like in the fall or spring, summer.
Oh, it
was awesome. A great place, yeah. So when did you get into punk rock, and how did you get into punk rock? And what were kind of some of the first bands that kind of got you into it?
Well, growing up, first I heard a lot of AC/DC and Rush at my friend Jason's house. His brother had every AC/DC album and every Rush album, and Rush was okay. I loved AC/DC. And then like hanging out with Mike Hall, like his brother would play stuff like the Clash and the Ramones. So I started getting into that, but it wasn't really until my brother started getting into some of the newer hardcore stuff. Like this one day I made these 2 tapes. I had Metallica Ride the Lightning, and then I had Minor Threat and Circle Jerks Group Sex on one cassette, and then 2 Government Issue albums on the other one. And what else? I forget, but it was just like, it changed everything. I mean,
how old were you at that time?
Probably when I started getting into that stuff, it probably would have been like around 84 or so, 85. Okay. It's hard to say. I mean, I listened to like a lot of the early 80s hair metal, Twisted Sister, Rat, Quiet Riot. Never got into the later stuff, but Dokken, all the greats.
I'm into it. I love it. I grew up with it too.
I am going to see Maiden in November.
Hell yeah.
Super excited.
Still put on the best show ever.
Oh yeah. I was so bummed out. I missed them last time they came through, and neighbor behind me, he's from Nepal, and he went because somehow he got into like Pantera and all these metal bands in Nepal. I asked him, I was like, how was Iron Maiden? And he was just like, it was in the top 5 days of my entire life. I was like, all right, that's pretty awesome. I believe it. I've seen them. They're great.
Where are they playing when you're going to see them?
Whatever the new Baltimore arena is, the CFG or something.
Gotcha.
The name changes like every year, so
yeah, it does.
I don't know. It's not the Royal Farms Arena anymore. It's something else, some random bank. They probably don't even have in Maryland, and no one's heard of.
So. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Is that where the Ravens play? Is that
no? This is like this is where the Skipjacks played.
Oh, okay.
Or play.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, apparently they redid it, and it's supposed to be super nice, but I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, I haven't been in. I haven't been since it was maybe even the Baltimore, maybe Royal Farms. I don't know. It's been many years.
Yeah. I did see Van Halen there.
Sweet.
But of course, this was like later with Wolfgang.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
That's still cool though. I mean,
Yeah, it was, but it was kind of like those big concerts. You're so far away from the stage.
yeah.
It was like, this is cool, but is it that much better than just watching the DVD? And
It's true.
I mean, you're just that far away.
Yeah.
But at least that's where we were.
God, could you imagine seeing like Van Halen in a small club? Now I know it'll never happen, obviously, because Eddie's not with us anymore. But could you imagine something you couldn't do for? I mean, when was the last time Van Halen played in a small club?
Every once in a while, you'll get some band like doing a couple small places like to prepare for tour or something. Like I got to see some bands at like the old 930 club that you'd never see at a place that holds 200 people. Like, you know, they had amazing bands come through there.
I've never been to the old 930 club.
Oh, it was smelly but awesome. I mean, like I saw Rage Against the Machine there opening up for Shudder to Think, and I was literally like 10 feet away from Zach De La Rocha while they were playing. I mean, it was like
crazy.
Not much bigger than the Sidebar. It was
okay.
It was just amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
Speaking of the Sidebar, that place is coming back.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a slow process.
They just had a fire. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, that's
it was
crazy.
like underneath so their CO2 alarms kept going off, and they couldn't figure out why. And so finally the fire department showed up, and there was a fire underground underneath the Sidebar. And it had to like close off like a couple city blocks.
Was this while it was still open?
No, this is like a couple weeks ago, like a week ago.
Oh shit.
Like
no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. I guess an old building like that, you're gonna have so much to do, and I think they've already done so much.
I've seen some pictures. I have a friend who's actually one of the dudes who's doing some work on the inside there. So I've seen some pictures. They're moving along. It's slow, but they're moving along.
I mean, I'm hoping once they get closer to opening, maybe I can help out and volunteer and help do something.
Yeah, it's a cool venue for sure.
But I think right now they're at the stages where you need experts doing
professional
what needs to be done. So
yeah.
They better keep the merch nook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool spot. When and how did the P-Tanks form?
think Mike Hall and I, if I remember correctly, just decided, hey, let's start a band.
Yeah.
And so we got our friend Andy, who played guitar, and then we knew this other kid that played drums, so we asked him and he said yes. But then we'd call him and be like, hey, we're gonna practice, and you'd hear him in the background like, tell him I'm not home. So we went by his house. I'm not here, tell him I'm not here. It's like, I guess he doesn't want to be in our band. So then we asked Evan, because he was playing the cardboard boxes in another band. And, he was basically our only other option, I guess, that we knew of. So he agreed to do it and eventually got drums and got really, really good.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah.
I mean, he was one of those people that, like, people would say, like, they're a pretty good band with an awesome drummer.
Yeah.
And I mean, having a drummer like that just makes all the difference.
It totally does.
It does.
Yeah.
That is 100% accurate.
Yeah. So is that Clean Air, the guitarist?
No, he joined later. So first it was Andy,
Okay.
and then Sparky Voiles. I don't know if you ever met him. He went on to play in some big metal bands that, toured all over, because he was an amazing guitarist. He was one of those guys at 18 that could just play like anything. Like, you pick any Metallica or Megadeth song and just
Yeah.
and so that was like kind of when Mike and Evan suddenly got a lot better. Because,
Gotcha.
I mean, they both basically started from scratch. Mike played a little piano and, knew how the notes went and stuff, but it was just kind of, things suddenly jumped into overdrive.
Yeah.
Although a lot of it was, might have been Sparky being so late for practice. We would just sit there and Evan and Mike would jam waiting for him. And, and we were in high school and practiced like 4 times a week, which,
Yeah.
you can't really get with grown-up bands unless
Right.
they're professionals.
Yeah.
Without other obligations.
So when did Clean Air start playing with you guys?
After Sparky left, we got Clean Air. Well, for maybe like 8 months or so, we couldn't find a replacement for Sparky. So we kind of did this joke side project where I played guitar and Mike and Evan played bass and drums. And we got our friend Mike McManus to sing. And we had just this stupid band where we tuned down all low and played like really heavy stuff and sang songs about Greek gods and just stupid stuff. It was total joke, but it was awesome. Like, I really wish we had recorded the songs.
Yeah.
And I always hoped, maybe one day we'll just get together and do a home recording, but it's pretty unlikely now.
Yeah.
And I was a terrible guitar player and we were still just dumb kids. So no one had a tuner. So we just tuned down a random amount. And like, you try to play guitar and the strings are so loose, they're just like moving under your fingers. It was in some ways pretty stupid. And it's like, you guys have been in bands. How do you not know any better? But we just didn't. So,
Awesome.
actually, one thing with tuning, I guess you've heard Picnic with Your Mom, where the beginning of the one song, it's, I don't want to sell out unless I have to.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing was, we weren't tune to E, it was tuned somewhere else. So once they tuned it, it was like, I don't know if I could hit these notes. And they were like, try it. And it was like, the guy was saying like, oh, we could slow it down and make it work. And I was just like, I don't want to sell out unless I have to, let me just try it. And
I don't have to sell out unless I have to.
That was like our third recording that we released, and it was probably like our fifth time or something recording. We still didn't have like tuners or anything, so it was probably the cheapest album you ever bought if you bought it. I think the whole thing cost $220 for recording and mixing. And
nice.
And who mastered stuff back then?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've heard this from several people. I don't remember who, but it's just kind of like one of these rumors that have been going around. Is it true that the P-Tanks were invited to join Fat Records?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I heard that we got asked to be on Kung Fu Records.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if that was even true. So
gotcha. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, we did play with No Effects and Lagwagon, and we played with a bunch of fat bands, luckily. But
where'd you play with No Effects?
The 8x10 in Baltimore.
Oh, sweet. Oh, that must have been an awesome show.
That is going back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was I don't know if it was right when White Trash, Two Heaps and a Bean came out, or The Longest Line.
Okay.
But it was around that time, so they were just so good. And even Lagwagon, they were so fast and so tight live. It was amazing.
Was that the same show?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, oh, this is a winner.
Damn.
Yeah.
How the fuck did I miss that show?
I mean, it was probably like 93 or so. Okay. Maybe 94. So it was before we had recorded Picnic with Your Mom, I think.
Did you guys tour a lot?
Not a ton. We did like a 2-week tour and a 3-week tour. Usually in the summers, everyone was busy working, and by then, like Mike and I were in college, and so we're living like an hour apart, and everyone's kind of scattered. So we were lucky to jam like once a week. But luckily, if we would play shows, that would kind of help.
Yeah. Yeah. When we were looking up, when I was Googling, of course, I came across so many flyers with you and Avail. Do you still have a relationship with those guys? Because I know you guys have played together a bunch of times.
Yeah, they always say hi when I see them. Like last time I saw Avail in DC, like Bobo actually gave me a shout out in between songs from the stage. I was like, ooh, this is kind of crazy. But yeah, and every time I see Tim, I always say hi and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're probably the band I've seen the most. I'm sure I've seen them over 20 times.
Wow. Okay.
Because they're just so great and awesome dudes. And
Did you make it to any of their reunion shows?
well, I saw them in DC open for Frank Turner, and then they did those two in Richmond. What was that, like 2000 or?
I mean, they did a couple recently in Richmond. I can't remember how long. They hadn't played since 2006, I think.
Yeah, so I went to the second night of those reunion shows.
Yeah, that's the one I was at as well.
I mean, it was so good.
All my friends that went to both said the second night was better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can believe it just because now you're, a little more in practice. And
Yeah.
Who were some of your favorite bands to play with back in the day?
there's so many because there was just so many super awesome people. I mean, all the local bands were all fantastic. I mean, there was just so much talent in this area, and then just going around. Like once Avail started getting bigger, we didn't play with them as much. But then we started playing more in Richmond, and we got hooked up with the Inquisition a few times, and Fun Size, and there was just, I thought Richmond was going to turn into like the next Seattle because there were so many fantastic bands from there. I mean, just every band was so awesome. I mean, you could go for a weekend and go to 2 shows and see 8 incredible bands. There's nothing like it. I mean, that time back then was just amazing.
Do you hear yourself as an influence? Like, well, I shouldn't say yourself, but like the P Tanks in other bands? Because I know I certainly do. I was telling Ron right before you jumped on that, like, going back and listening to, Picnic with Your Mom, like I hear like 2 to immediately come to mind are Bigwig and Strike Anywhere. Like their early stuff, I hear a lot of you guys in their early stuff.
Well, I know Tom from Bigwig did like us. I think they did a tour with Discount, and we had played with Discount, and so they gave him a tape or something. So a few years after the P Tanks, I had a band called the Chernobyl Kids, and Tom hooked us up with a bunch of shows in New Jersey. I mean, they're one of my favorite bands anyway, because they're just so tight. Every show is perfect. And I just love bands like that where, you have a poppier song, then one that's just super hard. And then this one's got some metal riffs, and then back to something melodic. And I mean, oh God, I love that band.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. I hope they start playing more often because they're just amazing. They played, I guess, a couple years ago up in Pennsylvania. I drove up and saw them. Still so good. Like the Chameleon Club, I think.
Well, I'm hoping we can get them down to the Pie Shop when we throw some of our shows, because a buddy of mine talks to Tom pretty regularly. So they do play some shows every year. I don't think it would take all that much to get them to come down from Jersey.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, it's like, I think Tom is sometimes in Jersey, but a lot of times in Tennessee. And then I think the one guitar player lives in Connecticut. and I think the bass player lives in Pittsburgh.
So many bands are like that now. It's
I know.
crazy.
And I think the drummer was flying in from California for the shows. So
Yeah, it's nuts.
it's not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a band that's not practicing all the time, they're still so tight.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, definitely get them. And if you can't get them, go see them.
Yeah.
I think my buddy had told me that he said like he would love to do it, but again, like you said, there's people coming in from all over the place.
Yeah, it's just I think it makes it harder and costs a little more financially when people are flying in from all over the country for
Yeah,
it.
it affects the guarantees a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bands who have said they would love to come play our show,
Right.
for the certain price.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that Pie Shop is 100 cap, so it's like, unless you're going to charge $1,000 a ticket,
Yeah,
you're not,
Right.
merch sales can only go so far.
Yeah,
at a
exactly.
100 ticket cap.
Yeah. Do you have like if I was to ask you about a certain P-Tank show, do you have like a most memorable P-Tank show that kind of comes to the top of your head?
I mean, there are a few that would stand out for different reasons. I mean, I was lucky to be in a band with such talented people, and people seem to like us. I could name like 20 shows that were so amazing for just so many reasons. I mean,
Yeah.
like we got to play the old 930 Club. We first went and played at the Gong Show. You get to play like 2 or 3 songs, and all these kids from our high school went, and we won.
Wait,
So
you played the
we,
Gong Show?
yeah. So we got to come back and open for Sam I Am and Snuff, and that was pretty amazing. Not that they were big then, but I mean,
yeah,
30 some years later, I still love both those. Actually, I have a Sam I Am hat on now.
Their new album is rad.
Yeah, I mean,
so good.
They keep putting out great stuff. And I mean, we got to play a sold out show at Hammerjack's with The Offspring and Rancid. That was pretty crazy.
Oh wow.
I mean, no one was there to see us. It was already sold out before we got asked to open. But it was still just
that's awesome.
Amazing. I mean, they were kind of dicks.
Really?
2 of us had girlfriends, and we were like, can we get our girlfriends in? No, they got to buy tickets. It's like, it's sold out. They can't buy tickets.
Serious?
Yeah. So finally we just told them, forget it. We're not playing unless we can have 2 people in free. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know how many people this place held, like 1,200 or something. It's like the opening band that's not getting paid. You can't let them bring in 2 people.
Yeah, fuck that.
But they finally gave in at the last minute. I mean, we got to play local Palooza. I don't know if you went to that, Ron.
No, didn't. So was that Dana who set that up? Dana Lamacchio?
Yeah.
When was that?
I want to say around 93-ish, maybe 94. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, it was something like well over 1,000 people,
Nice.
Just kids from all the high schools came, because
Yeah.
it was like 12 bands, and something like that and it was like all local bands, so it just made it that much more special.
Yeah.
Hanging out with all your friends and your friends' bands, and I mean, that was really special.
That's cool.
And when P-Tanks did play out of town or tour, we would do these random tours where you're just going all around, and we never hit the same place twice.
Mm-hmm.
So we did hit Boulder, Colorado 2 summers in a row. And the second time, I mean, they were both fantastic shows, but the second time there were all these kids singing along. I guess
cool.
a couple of them got the CD last time, and it was just like, this is so amazing. They're singing along and I can hear them. Like, it's kind of hard to beat that. I mean,
yeah, especially that far out of your area. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
That's how you know you got through to people.
Can we go back to the Gong Show real quick?
Sure.
How the hell how'd you get on that?
I don't remember. I don't even know if you had to register ahead of time or if you just showed
Where is
up.
that? Where was that?
At the old 930 Club.
Oh, was that the old 930 Club?
Yeah, it was just like a $3 thing or something to get in, or it might have even been free. Who knows? And they just had a bunch of random bands, and
that's the one where, like, if you suck, they like hit the gong and they.
Yeah, exactly. But we played a couple songs, and since there were so many of our friends there, they all knew the songs and went wild. So
What are you listening to these days?
I love a Wilhelm Scream. They're like the perfect band. I don't know. I listen to a lot of everything, and yet I often don't listen to any music at all.
Yeah.
Just because ever since my iPod went from stereo to one ear, You know, sometimes I'll listen to some stuff on my phone or YouTube, you know, while I'm working, but all the ads, you have to like, I'm working on stuff. Let me take off my gloves. Let me pull my phone out. Let me
Yeah.
fast forward this ad. It's kind of hard to listen to music, but
Career Suicide by Wilhelm Scream is like a top 10 like greatest album of all time.
oh yeah,
That album is so fucking good.
it is. I mean, they're just. Have you seen them live?
I have, yeah.
So good live. All of them are so talented,
Yeah.
and you know, they can write songs where they show off that talent, but it's not like, hey, we wrote this part so we could just show off. It works with the song and is still amazing. And, you know, they can still pull it back and play something simple. And
Yeah, they're a great
Where are they
band.
from?
Massachusetts, I believe.
yeah,
Okay.
one of those like shipping towns up there.
Gotcha. I'm going to ask you these 4 questions that we ask. Well, it's usually 3, but we've added a 4th question. So yeah. So, okay. So the first question is, if you were on death row, what would your final meal be?
I really don't know because I like food
Mhm.
a lot. I eat it every day, but I just don't care enough to, you know, put a little salt on it, maybe some sugar in it, whatever it is, it'll be great. You know, I'm not picky.
So any item with salt and sugar on top.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cool. That's the best.
We will put you down for one bowl of gruel.
I mean, well, I'd hope for something a little better than that, but I'm a simple man.
What if
I
they were
don't-
going to do a fast food run for you?
Okay. I would probably say, what's closest? You know, I mean, some are obviously better than others. Burger King is not that great.
Agreed.
You know,
I
I'd
agree.
probably take Taco Bell or McDonald's or Chipotle or,
Correct.
you know,
Taco Bell and McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Panera Bread.
Have you ever been such a disgrace like I have and gone through the Taco Bell drive-thru for tacos and the McDonald's drive-thru for fries in the same trip?
I probably have. I've had my moments of, yeah, I'm just eating in the car in shame by myself. You know, the family doesn't know.
That's why I love Del Taco so much out west, because they give you fries with the burritos. It's like or you can get fries with the burritos.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Best of, but McDonald's fries are like the greatest things ever.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really beat them for fries. So,
Yeah. All right. This is the new question. What is your favorite cereal?
I would have to go Captain Crunch
Nice.
peanut butter.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good choice.
You know,
I made Ron start asking this question because everyone has a favorite cereal.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's so good, the peanut butter Captain Crunch.
yeah. Other Captain Crunch, don't care. Throw it in
Yeah.
the trash. But peanut butter,
It's good. Like sticks to the roof of your mouth. It's just like got that.
yeah, you gotta like
That-
let it sit for a minute and
Yeah.
soften up so it doesn't cut your gums up too bad.
Yeah, it will tear you up. It's like eating fiberglass. I'm a Fruity Pebbles guy myself, but Captain Crunch peanut butter is delicious.
It's the sharpest cereal.
Yes. It's how they torture newborns in some countries.
All right, now we have 2 more serious questions. So this question is, so they could actually do this now. If you die and become cremated, they could take your ashes and form it into a vinyl record of your choice. So if you were going to have your ashes eternalized in an album, which album would you pick? And it has to be one that exists.
I mean, I feel like if I'm going to do something with my ashes, if I'm already going to be that self-involved, it would probably have to be one of my bands. So, um, maybe Picnic with Your Mom, just because that was
Nice.
never out on vinyl, and then it'll be one
Nice.
of one with my ashes. So the kids can sell it on eBay for 20
On
bucks. In a couple
Discogs,
years.
like I would pay at least $800 for that. Just to let you know, that's
At least.
if that makes you feel better.
That is crazy.
At least
I did find on eBay. I don't know why. I just looked on eBay, and because I am so self-centered, I put in the P tanks. And well, actually, I've been trying to collect like all the old recordings I've been on so I can have a copy of everything, because things have all disappeared.
yeah.
Some bands I have nothing. Other bands I have hundreds of records and CDs in my garage of. But so I put in the P tanks, and one of our old cassettes, someone bought. It was like for $12, and I was like, maybe I'll come back tomorrow and bid on this. I had the white cover. This was the pink cover. I could spare $12. I'm at that point in my life now. I'm really successful.
Not trying to brag, but I can get that for $12.
Right. But then I forgot about it and came back like 5 days later, and it sold for like $287.
Are you serious?
Or something. It's crazy. Like,
was that Exorcist Buttman or which
no?
one?
It was actually the one before that. Dance Around the Potter's Wheel.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Another classic.
Awesome.
Which, if I was going to spend close to $300 on one, it would not be that one. It would definitely be one of the others.
Yeah.
I hope they weren't too disappointed. I wasn't the one selling it, so we sold them for $5. I thought, we were fair.
See, you guys could have been making so much more money.
Yeah.
Selling them for in the 80s for $286.
Yeah.
All right. Last question is, if who is on your Mount Rushmore of punk rock? You get 5 people because you get a Crazy Horse too.
Ooh. I would probably go Keith Morris.
Nice.
I mean, he's got Circle Jerks, Black
He's
Flag, Off.
Yeah, he's great. He's on mine too.
Yeah.
Probably go Bill Stevenson.
Nice.
Black Flag, Descendants, all.
Yeah. You going to see Descendants on Sunday?
Yes. Is it that soon? I got the tickets so many months ago. I have no idea.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's the 7th, so it's this coming Sunday.
Ooh.
I will see you there.
Thanks for reminding me.
All right, so you got Keith Morris and Bill Stevenson.
Brian Baker.
Nice.
Minor Threat, Dag Nasty.
Bad Religion.
Bad Religion.
Yeah. Yeah, he's done a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then
it's
I'd
crazy
also
to think that he's been in Bad Religion longer than any of them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for I guess
Except
the
for
singer and the bass
Brett,
player.
yeah, Brett.
Well, I just mean like
Greg
any of
is.
his other bands.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I
All
guess
the-
it's probably been like 20 some years now.
Yeah, he joined Bad Religion in like 95 or 96.
Was it that really? It was the 90s? Damn.
Yeah, it was the Gray Race was his first album
Oh shit.
that he was on of theirs, which I think is 96.
That was right after what's it called? Stranger Than Fiction. Yeah, so it would have been 96. Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
I know, right? It is crazy.
Dave Smalley.
Nice.
Dag Nasty, Down My Law, all.
He lives right up the street from me here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever see him?
From time to time I run into him.
I heard he hasn't been doing too well.
Oh, yeah. I don't know him well enough to know that, but I do run. He does come into Fredericksburg. I mean, I guess he's from here.
Yeah, I would probably like take my kids and be like, throw your ball in their yard. Hey, now we're best friends, buddy. Ooh, and a fifth one.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have been more prepared. I might just have to say Milo, because I mean,
Nice.
you can't get any better than Milo.
Yeah.
I actually met him once.
Did you?
Yeah, because like the P Tanks did a 3-week tour with this band called Swank, and then
Oh yeah.
afterwards, Tony worked for like Less Than Jake and went on tour with them. So at one of the Warp tours, I guess like around 97 or whenever Descendants were playing, he was like, "Oh yeah, come on backstage," and we were hanging out and saw Jessica from Less Than Jake, and they had just toured with the Descendants. She was like, "Oh, I'll introduce you," and it's just like she introduces us, and I was like, I didn't know what to say. I was just like, "Oh my god!" And so I said, "You rock." It was my big chance, and I totally blew it. But I got to be in the shadow of greatness for a few seconds, so that was pretty nice.
Awesome.
I went to that show at the 930 Club actually when the Descendants, Less Than Jake, and I think Guttermouth was touring with them in that show too. It was like 1996, I think.
Yeah, I was at that one. That was, or was it U.S. Bombs or New Bomb Turks?
No, it was US Bombs. US Bomb opened. It was US Bomb. That's right. Because I could never remember the fourth band that played. So thank you. But yeah, it was US Bombs, Guttermouth, Less Than Jake, and the Descendants. That's exactly what it was.
930 Club? The new 930 Club,
yeah. The new 90. But it was like super new then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that would have been pretty new, and that was an amazing show. Like,
yeah, that was an incredible show.
I loved Less Than Jake too. So
yeah, we just saw them down in Norfolk. Matt and I went down.
Oh, nice.
See Strung Out and Less Than Jake.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
It was a good show. And the Raging Nathans too.
Yeah.
Who are not terrible.
Yeah. And none of them are gonna name Nathan.
Yeah, not a single one of them are named Nathan.
Yet.
Yeah.
The judge has to approve the paperwork.
What do you have going on now, Funny?
Well, my one band Found Down just started playing again, practicing. So hopefully that'll be a thing. It's so hard to do bands with grown-ups.
It totally is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because even when you're in a band with responsible people, they still have responsible people reasons.
It's almost worse when it's responsible.
Yeah,
people.
exactly. Like, oh, you have to take your kid to the hospital. Yeah, can't really get angry at that.
We're trying to be in a band here, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like we were supposed to practice last week, and the bass player couldn't practice because he's an architect and he had this project they were working on that had to get finished.
Yeah.
So like 2 days later, he sent us a message like, the high school's finished. 700 pages of 3x4 drawings for this high school. Like, oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Adulthood sucks.
So hopefully that will be a thing. And then I just started jamming with this other group of guys down in Edgewater like last week. So it's still a little early to tell.
Are you playing bass or are you singing?
Singing.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
They have talented people, so
cool.
They don't need me. Actually, I'm not that bad at bass. It's just everything else I'm terrible at.
Well, look, thanks so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. It was awesome to talk to you. Like, I was telling Matt, before that the P tanks were, I was nervous to talk to you. I know we've met a couple times, and I've talked to you. I think the last time you actually bought an Ailment CD off me at a show.
Yeah,
but
I can't remember. I might have gotten the Christmas record too.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. But I was telling Matt, I was like, the P tanks were like my no effects for like my first couple years of punkdom, and it was like, it's like, I was kind of, I was getting nervous today. I was like, Funny's gonna be on the show.
You don't have to be nervous talking to me. It was like these other guys with all this amazing talent, and then like I'm the roadie who they also gave the mic to. Like,
he carries in our equipment, so let's let him sing too.
I mean, basically.
I'll look for you at the Descendant show on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
I'm sure I'll be easy to find.
I will follow your hair and
1,200 people.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
thank you. It's been awesome.
All right.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, and Love Savage remains.
No, thank you very much.
I've been rocking out. So
yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
All right, man. I'll hopefully see you then.
Cool.
All right.
Take
later.
it easy, guys.
Yep.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.